The government owes money, not just a little, not just this year, always. No matter who is in power, no matter how strong the economy looks, no matter how loudly leaders promise fiscal responsibility, the debt never disappears. It only grows. And here's the uncomfortable part. This isn't a failure of government. It's how the system is built. Right now, this matters more than ever. Because debt numbers are breaking records quietly, while attention is elsewhere. And most people still believe a comforting myth that governments borrow because they're reckless, lazy, or bad with money. That myth is wrong. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you run a household. If you keep borrowing year after year, eventually the bank cuts you off. Interest eats you alive. You go bankrupt. Governments don't. They borrow more. And markets keep lending. That should already feel strange. To understand why, we have to rewind, not to a textbook, but to a moment most people never notice. Every modern government runs on promises made in the future. Pensions that will be paid decades from now. Healthcare for people not yet retired. Infrastructure that lasts longer than the politicians who approve it. Defense budgets justified by threats that may never arrive. All of that costs money today. But governments don't collect all that money today. They collect taxes slowly, predictably, politically. Raising taxes too fast loses elections. Cutting spending loses elections faster. Debt becomes the quiet middle path. Borrow now, explain later, and later never comes. But here's the deeper mechanism most people miss. Governments don't borrow like you do. When you take a loan, the money already exists. When governments borrow, they help create new money. That's the first hidden lever. When a government runs a deficit, it issues bonds. Those bonds are bought by banks, funds, sometimes foreign governments. Then something subtle happens. Central banks step in. They buy those bonds using newly created money, not printed cash. Digital balances. The government spends that money into the economy. Salaries, contracts, welfare, projects. Debt enters quietly. Money spreads everywhere. This is why debt doesn't feel like debt. There's no sudden pain, no instant collapse. Just gradual inflation and asset bubbles that take years to notice. The system doesn't scream, it whispers. Now, let's talk about the math no politician puts on a billboard. Economic growth is the lifeline. As long as the economy grows faster than the debt's interest rate, governments survive, not repay, survive. Debt becomes manageable not by paying it back, but by outgrowing it. This is the core gamble. Growth will save us. And sometimes it works. After World War II, countries were buried in debt, but economies exploded. Factories, jobs, trade, debt shrank relative to GDP without being paid off. That success became the blueprint. Borrow, stimulate, grow, repeat. But here's the irony. The more governments rely on debt-fueled growth, the harder real growth becomes. Productivity slows, populations age, returns diminish. So what happens? More borrowing, lower interest rates, more stimulus. The system becomes addicted, and like all addictions, it works until it doesn't. Now let's address the uncomfortable question everyone thinks, but rarely asks. Why not just stop borrowing? Because stopping breaks things. If governments suddenly balanced budgets, entire sectors would feel it immediately. Public jobs disappear, contracts vanish, social programs shrink, markets panic, recessions follow. Debt isn't just funding governments, it's stabilizing expectations, the illusion of continuity. There's also a political reality nobody likes admitting. Debt shifts pain into the future. Voters today enjoy benefits. Voters tomorrow pay the bill. Tomorrow doesn't vote. This creates a structural bias toward debt. Even well-intentioned leaders face the same incentives. Spend less and lose power. Borrow more and stay in control. Debt becomes bipartisan. Now let's zoom out. Globally, governments owe tens of trillions. That number is so large it stops meaning anything emotionally. So here's a better way to think about it. Debt is a claim on future productivity. It assumes future workers will produce enough value to to honor today's spending. But demographics are changing. In many countries, the workforce is shrinking. Aging populations mean fewer workers, supporting more retirees. This flips the equation: less growth, more obligations. The math tightens. And when math tightens, governments turn to quieter tools. Inflation. Inflation is not an accident, it's a pressure valve. When prices rise, the real value of debt falls. Governments repay yesterday's money with tomorrow's weaker currency. From the borrower's perspective, it's brilliant. From the saver's perspective, it's theft without fingerprints. This is where hype and reality split. The hype says debt is dangerous because one day governments will default. The reality is more subtle. Most governments don't default outright. They inflate, restructure, or quietly devalue. Default is loud, inflation is polite. Now pause for a second. If debt is permanent, if repayment isn't the goal, what is? Stability. Debt is a tool to smooth chaos, to absorb shocks, to delay reckoning. Pandemic, borrow. Financial crisis, borrow. War, borrow. Debt becomes the shock absorber of modern civilization. And shock absorbers wear out. Interest rates can't go to zero forever. Central banks can't expand balance sheets infinitely without consequences. At some point, confidence matters. Not trust. Confidence. Confidence that money tomorrow will still mean something. Confidence that growth will return. Confidence that the system remains intact. Once confidence cracks, things move fast. Capital flees, currencies weaken, policy options shrink. That's when debt stops being invisible. We're not there yet, but the trajectory is clear. Governments are always in debt because the modern state is built on future promises, political incentives, and monetary systems designed to postpone limits rather than enforce them. Debt isn't a bug, it's the operating system. The real question isn't whether governments will pay it back. They won't. Not fully. The real question is different. How long can future growth, future workers, and future confidence carry the weight of today's choices? And when that balance finally breaks, who pays the price first?